The gavel came down with a sound that echoed through my soul. The court finds in favor of the plaintiff. The defendants are ordered to pay $10,000 in damages. I sat there, hands trembling, watching my sister Lily's face crumble as the judge's words sank in. 6 months pregnant, sitting in a courtroom, suing my own sister. This wasn't how I'd imagined my life would unfold. But here we were. The security camera footage had been damning. There was Lily, drunk and furious, hurling a chair through the window of the villa I'd bought for our parents. There was her husband Tom, spray painting obscenities on the walls. The same walls I'd carefully chosen, imagining quiet evenings where Mom and Dad could finally rest. How did it come to this? I close my eyes and remember being 7 years old, watching Mom's face crumple as Lily screamed for the last cookie. "Amelia, honey," Mom would say, her voice strained. "Could you please let Lily have the last cookie? You know how she gets." And I'd nod, because what else could I do? I was the good girl, the one who didn't make waves. I learned early that it was easier to fade into the background than compete with Hurricane Lily. My parents had their reasons, I suppose. Dad grew up dirt poor, one of 8 children who fought over scraps at dinner. He'd sworn his daughters would never want for anything. Mom came from a family where emotions were weapons. Her own mother had used guilt and manipulation like artillery. She was terrified of damaging her children the way she'd been damaged. So they gave Lily everything, convinced that love meant never saying no. They didn't realize they were creating a monster. As we grew older, the pattern stayed the same. Lily demanded, our parents caved, and I tried to stay invisible. I buried myself in books and schoolwork, dreaming of escape. That escape finally came with a full-ride scholarship to college. As I packed my beaten-up car, Mom hugged me tight. "We're so proud of you, Amelia," she whispered. "You're going to do great things." Dad clapped my shoulder, his eyes suspiciously bright. "Remember, you can always come home if you need to." Lily watched from the porch, arms crossed, not saying a word. Even then, I could see the resentment simmering in her eyes. How dare I leave when she needed someone to blame for her problems? College was oxygen after a lifetime of suffocating. For the first time, I didn't have to tiptoe around anyone's feelings or sacrifice my wants for someone else's tantrums. I threw myself into studies with desperate hunger. Meanwhile, Lily married Tom right after high school and moved back in with our parents. Tom was cut from the same cloth as Lily, charming when he wanted something, entitled when he didn't get it. His own father had been a small-town big shot who'd taught him that rules were for other people. When that attitude collided with real-world consequences, Tom simply found people to bail him out. First his parents, then mine. "It's temporary," Mom would tell me during our rare phone calls. But temporary stretched into years. Lily popped out 2 kids in quick succession, using them as leverage for free childcare and housekeeping. She'd never worked a day in her life. Why start now when Mom and Dad were so eager to help? During one visit home, I overheard a conversation that made my blood boil. "Mom, can you watch the kids tonight?" Lily was saying. "Tom and I want to go out." "Lily, honey, your father and I had plans." "Oh, come on. It's not like you have anything important to do." We never get a night off. I watched Mom's shoulders slump in defeat. "All right, dear. We'll watch them. I wanted to scream, but what right did I have? I was the one who'd left, after all. So I bit my tongue and focused on building my own life. After graduation, I landed a management position at an international company. The work was demanding, the hours brutal, but I thrived. Every promotion felt like validation, a proof that I wasn't just the forgotten daughter, the family afterthought. While Lily was demanding grocery money from our parents, I was saving every penny. No fancy clothes or wild nights out. I had bigger plans. First came a small apartment, nothing special, but mine. Then a reliable car, paid in full. I kept my head down and worked harder than anyone around me. Dating wasn't a priority until Jake walked into my life. Jake was different from anyone I'd known. He didn't try to impress me with flashy gestures or smooth talk. Instead, he challenged me, made me laugh, and most importantly, respected my drive. "You're something else, Amelia," he said on our third date, shaking his head in admiration. "Most people would be burned out working as hard as you do, but you're thriving." I shrugged, uncomfortable with praise. "I just know what I want." He reached across the table and took my hand. "Well, I know what I want too. And it's you, Amelia." For the first time in years, I felt my carefully constructed walls start to crumble. Maybe there was room in my life for more than just work and financial security. When Jake proposed, I was terrified. Marriage felt like giving someone the power to disappoint me, to take away everything I'd built. But Jake had a way of making me see beyond my fears. The wedding day arrived, and despite my reservations, I was excited. This was my day, marrying the man I loved, surrounded by people who actually cared about my happiness. Then Lily showed up. My sister waltzed into the bridal suite wearing a white dress that looked suspiciously bridal. "Oh, Amelia," she exclaimed, twirling around. "Don't you love my dress? I wanted to look my best for your big day." I stared at her, speechless. Was she seriously trying to upstage me at my own wedding? The familiar knot formed in my stomach, that old childhood feeling of being erased, made invisible. "Lily," I finally managed, "don't you think that dress is inappropriate for a bridesmaid?" She pouted, looking around at our cousins for support. "What do you mean?" "I think I look great." "Don't I look great, girls?" Our cousins, not wanting drama, mumbled awkward agreements. I took a deep breath, reminding myself this was my day. I wasn't going to let Hurricane Lily destroy this too. The ceremony was beautiful despite Lily's antics. Jake's eyes lit up when he saw me walking down the aisle, and in that moment, all the family drama faded. This was about us, our love, our future. But at the reception, Lily's performance continued. More than once I overheard guests asking her if she was the bride. She'd giggle and say, "Oh no, that's my sister, but doesn't this dress look amazing on me?" Jake, bless him, kept me grounded. "Don't let it get to you," he whispered, squeezing my hand. "Everyone knows you're the star of this show." After the wedding, Jake and I settled into married life. I threw myself back into work with renewed energy, and my investments in securities began paying off handsomely. 5 years flew by, and suddenly we had built a substantial nest egg. That's when inspiration struck. "Let's buy a vacation home," I suggested one evening. "Somewhere my parents could use too, to get away from everything." Jake knew what I meant by everything. My sister, her husband, Their 3 kids. It was overwhelming for my aging parents. We found the perfect place, a beautiful villa on a lake just outside the city. 3 bedrooms, a sprawling terrace, a barbecue area, and a view that took your breath away. The moment I saw it, I knew this was their sanctuary. When I called my parents to see the villa, Mom's eyes filled with tears. "Oh, Amelia," she whispered, looking around in awe. This is too much." Dad was speechless, running his hands along the smooth kitchen countertop like he couldn't believe it was real. "It's not too much," I insisted. "You deserve this. A place to relax, to get away from your sister," Dad finished, guilt creeping into his voice. I nodded, then made a request that would later haunt me. "Listen, there's one thing. Can we not tell Lily that I bought this? Can we say it's yours, that you bought it with your savings?" Mom looked confused. "But why?" I sighed, thinking about Lily's recent demand to borrow money for a car. "It's just easier this way. Please." They agreed, albeit reluctantly. I should have known this white lie would come back to bite me. A few days later, Mom called, exhausted. "Lily found out about the villa. She wants us to sell it, give her the money for a sports car and travel fund." My blood pressure spiked. "And what did you say?" "We said no, of course." "But Amelia," it was awful. She screamed, cried, said we loved you more, that we always favored you. I closed my eyes, feeling that familiar mixture of guilt and frustration. "I'm sorry, Mom. I never meant to cause trouble." "It's not your fault, sweetie. Your father and I have decided to move to the villa full time. We just can't. We can't do this anymore." As I hung up, relief washed over me. Finally, my parents were standing up for themselves. But I also felt unease settling in my stomach. I knew Lily wouldn't let this go without a fight. It was a sunny Saturday when Jake and I decided to surprise my parents with a visit. But as we approached the villa, something felt wrong. Loud music filled the air, and cars were parked haphazardly across the lawn. We pulled up to chaos. People everywhere drinking, laughing, kids screaming and running wild. Right in the middle of it all was Lily, holding court like she owned the place. When she saw us, her eyes narrowed. "What are you doing here?" I looked around, trying to spot my parents. "Where's Mom and Dad?" Lily waved dismissively. "Oh, Mom's walking with the kids. Dad went to get more meat for the barbecue." I couldn't believe it. "You sent them out while you're having a party?" "It's a celebration," Lily exclaimed. "We're christening the new family vacation home." "Not that you'd understand, Miss Workaholic." My blood began to boil. This villa, my villa, had been turned into Lily's personal playground while our elderly parents were running errands like servants. "Lily, this isn't," she cut me off. "Look, Amelia, why don't you and Jake just leave? Your sour face is going to ruin everyone's mood." As we drove away, I couldn't shake the image of Lily lording over my villa. The villa I'd bought to give our parents peace. "I can't believe her," I fumed. "Using Mom and Dad like that, treating the place like it's hers." But it wasn't a one-time thing. Over the next few weeks, Mom told me about the constant stream of parties Lily was hosting. And when she wasn't partying, she was dumping her kids on our parents. "The kids are missing school," Mom confided during one call, exhaustion heavy in her voice. "Lily says it's not a big deal, Tommy's only 4, but Emily and Jack are falling behind." I'd had enough. The next time I saw Lily, I confronted her. You need to stop taking advantage of mom and dad. They're not your personal babysitters, and the kids need to be in school. Lily rolled her eyes. Don't be such a killjoy, Amelia. Mom and Dad love having the kids around, but I could see the toll it was taking. My parents looked exhausted, worn down. This wasn't the peaceful retirement I'd envisioned when I bought the villa. After several failed attempts to reason with Lily, I made a difficult decision. I contacted Child Protective Services. The investigation was quick and discreet. Lily got a formal reprimand, and suddenly the kids were back in school full-time. The endless parties stopped too. Things have calmed down, Mom told me a few days later, relief evident in her voice. Your father and I are actually getting to enjoy the place now, but my relief was short-lived. The next time I saw Lily, her eyes were full of venom. I know what you did, she spat. Calling CPS on your own sister. You're a traitor, Amelia. I'll never forgive you for this. A few months later, it was Mom's birthday. Jake and I decided to surprise her with a weekend visit, imagining a quiet family celebration. But as we pulled up, those dreams evaporated. The place was chaos again, music blaring, people everywhere, kids running wild. It looked like Lily had invited half the town. I found Mom in the kitchen, looking exhausted and on the verge of tears. Happy birthday, Mom, I said, giving her a hug. She clung to me desperately. Oh, Amelia, I just wanted a quiet day with family. But Lily invited all these people. Your father and I have been running around all day, serving drinks, cooking food. I marched outside, searching for Lily in the crowd. When I found her laughing with friends, I approached firmly. Lily, we need to talk. This is Mom's birthday. She wanted a family day, not this circus. Lily laughed loudly. Oh, lighten up. Mom loves having people over. Stop being such a buzzkill. Frustrated, I walked over to the speakers. Excuse me, could you please turn this down? It's too loud. The drunk guests just laughed and cranked the volume higher. Then I noticed something horrifying. Lily was huddled with a group of kids, pointing at me and giggling. She was handing them ice cream cones and encouraging them to throw them at me. Before I could react, the first scoop flew past my head. I ducked, and it hit a woman behind me square in the face. Chaos erupted. More ice cream flying, kids screaming, adults yelling. Lily's voice rose above the commotion. Look what you've done, Amelia. You're ruining everything as usual. The crowd, fueled by alcohol and Lily's accusations, started turning ugly. People were shouting, moving toward Jake and me with clenched fists. Amelia, we need to get out of here, Jake said urgently. But I'd had enough. This was my parents' home, the home I'd bought for them. This had to stop. I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. I'm calling the police, I announced loudly. The officers arrived quickly, lights flashing. They'd already received noise complaints from neighbors. Who owns this property? One officer asked. I stepped forward. I do. I'm Amelia Johnson. My parents live here, but these people are here without my invitation. The police efficiently ushered the drunk guests off the property and warned them about starting fights. As the squad cars drove away with the last uninvited guests, eerie silence fell over the villa. Lily stood in the living room, her face mixing shock and anger. "What do you mean this is your house?" she demanded, voice shrill. I took a deep breath. "I bought it for Mom and Dad to retire in peace." Lily's eyes narrowed, then suddenly her demeanor changed. A sly smile spread across her face. "Well, well. Little Miss Perfect, always full of surprises." She sauntered over, voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "Listen, Amelia, let's forget about this little misunderstanding. I've got a proposition for you." I raised an eyebrow warily. "This property has potential. Why don't you sign it over to me? I could build a few more houses, rent them out. I've been looking for a passive income opportunity. You've already got your fancy job. Why not help your sister out?" "Absolutely not," I said firmly. "This house is for Mom and Dad. It's not for sale or development." Lily's face darkened. "You'll regret this, Amelia. Mark my words." She stormed out, her husband and kids trailing behind. I spent the rest of the day helping Mom clean up, but Lily's threat kept echoing in my mind. I knew my sister well enough to know she wouldn't let this go easily. Before leaving, I made a decision. I hired a security company to install hidden cameras and an alarm system that would alert my phone if anyone entered the grounds. 2 weeks later, my phone buzzed with a security alert. Someone had entered the property. I called Mom immediately. "Are you and Dad at the villa?" "No, honey, we're back at the old house. Lily insisted we come help with the kids. We've been here for a week." My heart sank. Jake and I rushed to the villa, and the sight that greeted us was heartbreaking. The beautiful home I'd bought for my parents was in shambles. Furniture overturned, belongings strewn everywhere, graffiti on the walls. Fury rose in me as I called the police. When they arrived, I showed them the security footage. There was no doubt it was Lily and Tom vandalizing the property in a drunken rage. A few days later, Lily called. "You need to drop the charges," she said without preamble. The police questioned us. "They're talking about pressing charges for vandalism and trespassing. You have to make this go away, Amelia." I took a deep breath. "No, Lily. I'm done cleaning up your messes. I'm done being the family peacekeeper at the expense of my own peace. From now on, you can talk to my lawyer." The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of legal proceedings. I was determined to see this through, to finally put an end to Lily's destructive behavior. I had the villa professionally cleaned and repaired, documenting every bit of damage. The bill came to just over $10,000. My lawyer advised me to sue for the full amount. After soul searching, I agreed. And that brings us back to today. Sitting in this courtroom, 6 months pregnant, watching the judge rule in my favor. The aftermath hit Lily's family hard. Tom, who'd always coasted on charm and family connections, suddenly found himself struggling to find work. No one wanted to hire someone with a criminal record, even a suspended one. Lily, who'd never worked a day in her life, was forced to find a job. I heard through the grapevine that she was waiting tables at a local diner, coming home exhausted every night. As for me, I made the painful but necessary decision to cut ties completely. I issued a legal notice barring Lily from the villa and ceased all communication. Mom and Dad, finally free from Lily's constant demands, moved into the villa full-time. The change in them was remarkable. They looked years younger, more relaxed than I'd seen them in decades. We should have done this years ago, Dad told me during one of my monthly visits. We love having the grandkids over, but now it's on our terms. A few hours at a time, then back to our peaceful life. They'd left their old house to Lily, a final act of parental kindness, but made it clear the financial support stopped there. It was time for Lily to stand on her own 2 feet. As for me, life was looking up, work was going well, my relationship with Jake was stronger than ever, and then we got unexpected news. I'm pregnant, I told Jake one evening, my voice shaking with excitement and nervousness. His face lit up like a Christmas tree. He picked me up and spun me around, both of us laughing and crying. As I write this, I'm 6 months along. We're having a little girl. Jake and I are busy preparing the nursery, reading every parenting book we can find. I still think about Lily sometimes. Last I heard, she and Tom were fighting constantly, teetering on the edge of divorce. Part of me feels sad for her, for the mess she's made of her life. But a bigger part of me feels free. Free from the obligation to always fix her problems, to be the peacekeeper at the expense of my own happiness. I learned something important through all this. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is set boundaries. Sometimes protecting your own peace isn't selfish, it's survival. My daughter will grow up knowing she's valued for who she is, not how much she's willing to sacrifice for others. She'll learn that love doesn't mean enabling destructive behavior. And she'll understand that family isn't just about blood, it's about respect, support, and genuine care. The villa by the lake is peaceful now. Mom and Dad spend their days reading on the terrace, watching the sunset over the water. Sometimes they call to tell me about the birds they've spotted or the flowers blooming in the garden. It's exactly what I'd envisioned when I bought the place. A sanctuary. A place where people who deserve peace can finally find it. And maybe, someday, my daughter will play on that same terrace, surrounded by grandparents who have time to truly see her, to value her for who she is rather than what she can give them. That's the legacy I want to leave, not money or property, but the understanding that love and boundaries can coexist. That sometimes the bravest thing you can do is refuse to enable someone else's destruction, even when that someone is family. The gavel came down months ago, but its echo still resonates in my soul. Not as an ending, but as a beginning. The beginning of a life where I'm finally free to be myself, to protect what matters most, and to love without losing myself in the process.